Hello, my name is Ken Colgan with the BIM Guys, and today we're going to discuss how to link in a scan into a Navisworks file. You can create an NWD file, which could actually binds all of the linked files into a single file that can be used with Freedom. That is Navisworks Freedom. The thing is, when you use a scan, the software tries to embed it and just makes a mess. It makes a big triangulated mess. So to get it to look right, if you are using Navisworks Manage, that gives you the ability to link in the scanned image, the dot matrix, and see it exactly as it is, which can be very powerful. You can also link it into your AutoCAD file, again, which is very powerful, and I'll touch on that too. Sometimes it's a matter of you got to play with it to get the orientation and everything set right, but it's not that hard. It just takes a few minutes. First of all, we'll do it with the Navisworks. So if I want to bring it in, I'm going to go to my selection tree here. You'll notice that I do not have it in. Within here are all these other files, but I do not have the scan. So what I do is I go to Home and I go to Append. What Append does is actually brings in one. You can also come down here and I'll go popping through. And what you should have is if you downloaded it, you should have a folder here under the trade models that has scans in it. If you go to Oshner, you should see an Oshner one. And what we're looking for is, we don't see it yet, we're looking for a recap file. Now see, it's looking for a Navisworks file, so we got to kick this down and say, I'm going to let you look at all files. And I could try to go find it in here. It's probably in there somewhere. I just don't know where, so I'm going to say, see all files. Now when I click on the folder, you'll see it says Oshner RCP, and I've saved one Oshner RCP with DIMS. That was something I was working on. So I'm going to grab the original, and I hit open. At this point, Navisworks is linking the file. Now where is it? That's the big question. So if I zoom out, I'm rolling my mouse back right now and I spin this thing around, what you'll notice is at one point there's another file floating around out here. There it is. And it's all kind of out of whack. You see it's different elevation, different X, different Y. It's just all whacked. Now, being that I've already aligned it, all you have to do is type in the data now. So we'll go over to the selection tree and we'll drop this down. And you'll see in here what the recap does, it actually, this is kind of like it's an XREF with another XREF in it, and that's what causes the grief. Now you can, if you want to, link in every one of these individually, and supposedly, according to what I've read, you can export an NWD file with all this stuff in it, but that could be pretty time consuming, so it may be easier for you just to do this. Now what I'm going to do is right click and I go down here to it says units and transform. You'll see there's some numbers here now, or some blanks. What we're going to do is fill in some numbers. Now what numbers we'll be using, I'm going to fire up this little screen capture. This screen capture is you can download it. It was in the email, and it's also, I'll put it on the website also. What we're going to do is just type in the numbers. So in here, let me go ahead and make this a little smaller. Cancel out that for a moment. That way I can have the graphic sitting next to this and work on them at the same time. So there's the graphic, and here we are. So now what we're going to do is just take a moment. This may take me a moment because my typing sucks. To type all this information in. So I'm going to type in -839 FT space. I'm going to type it in just as it is, 8 IN space 1/2. Navisworks does have some wacky numbering systems, so we'll go ahead and do that again. 980, that is feet. I'm not sure, you may not have to type in feet and inches, but I'm typing in as it is on the screen. Okay, because when I click out the box, you'll notice that it seems to be happy with that. So 261. Now be careful of positive and negatives right now, because you'll notice that on the first one it's a negative and the rest are positive. So it does take a little bit of just keeping an eye on things, typing these in. Alright, now then we come down here to rotation. So I'm going to go ahead and type the rotation in, 55.903. We're going to hit OK on that, and if all goes well, it's verified 001, 111. Alright, it's got a -1 here. Let's switch this to a -1. Alrighty, let's hit OK and see what happens. You'll notice that there's a blur of light that happened, and that is the model falling into place. So now you'll see that the scan is right in where we want to be. So if I zoom in close, you can see the deck. You can see how everything's kind of lining up. See within there, you see the actual bar joist, and they're actually, that's where they were scanned. You can see the deck above where it's scanned, and now you can see kind of the bar joist. So that is how we get it to line up. One problem I had before when I did it uh, was when I was clicking on, I wasn't paying attention to those secondary numbers. Let's go back to here, 2 units here, and this was set to a +1. What that did, it kind of spun it around the opposite direction, so I got kind of a whacked out thing like this. Okay, it's like spun it. I don't know, some particular number. It looks weird. I don't know what the number is. I don't know what the units are. So back to the selection tree, go back here, and then go back to the units and transform, and make sure this is a negative. That's one of those little monkeys that get you. I should have noted it, but hit OK. And now what you have is, in theory, these things should be lined up pretty much dead on. You can go ahead and check. What I like to do is I check at the base of the columns, so you can see where the fireproofing is cut back. You can see if, make sure the stuff lines up. If you want to move these things left and right, you actually have the ability to just change the transform number, or you can actually select on the object and move it. I'm going to go full screen here. You grab this, you hit the object. If I could pick on the right object, right? Pick on the right object. There it is. You can see the deck's highlighted. There is item, and there's a move tool. You can actually move it left and right. So if I click move, okay, so move it, and then see this little button, you pick where you want to move it. So I'll do this and see it slides out. So you can, if you need to do a little bit of adjusting, you can move it left and right. You can even move it up or down. So verify how it looks in your world, and you should be good to go. So that is how we can realign this setup. There are some little tools in here. You can also use the rotate feature. I'm going to make a mess of this, but if you grab this, you'll see it rotates up. I just took that whole scan and jacked it up. Yeah, well, I haven't, but I thought I would have there. But you see things are starting to get jacked up. So if I go ahead and finish that up, see what we do there, mess it up or not. So I don't know. You can see we moving things around. So I would recommend just use those numbers, type them in as is, and you'll be good to go. So be careful with these here.